Before he became a legendary myth, he was a cold-blooded assassin hired to do the impossible. Entire empire ruled by a ruthless tyrant who has never lost a single battle. The secret to his absolute power? A mysterious, beautiful seer who predicts the future with terrifying accuracy. But when the world's last true warrior is sent to eliminate her, the ultimate betrayal begins. Trapped in the deadly desert, hunted by thousands of elite soldiers, and buried alive, this savage warrior will turn the sands red to claim his revenge. Get ready, because today we are breaking down a cinematic masterpiece where one man defies fate itself. Welcome back to the channel. Let's dive straight into the action. Our story begins thousands of years ago, in a brutal, lawless era long before the pyramids were even built. A dark shadow has swept across the ancient lands, conquering every free tribe with merciless force. The mastermind behind this reign of terror is King Memnon, a warlord driven by absolute, unchecked cruelty. Memnon doesn't just want territory, he wants the complete eradication of anyone who dares to resist him. The few remaining free tribes are desperate, backed into a corner with absolutely nowhere left to hide. Realizing they stand zero chance in an open war, the tribal leaders gather in secret to plan a final, desperate move. They discover that Memnon's flawless victories aren't just luck, they are guided by a powerful supernatural force. A mysterious sorcerer predicts every single move the enemies make before the battles even begin. To tip the scales, the tribes hire the last surviving Akkadians, a rare bloodline of elite, lethal assassins. Enter Mathayus, a man who doesn't fight for glory or kingdoms, but strictly for the price of gold. Alongside his brother Jessup and their close ally, Mathayus rides out toward the enemy's massive encampment. Their mission is dead simple but wildly dangerous: infiltrate the camp and eliminate the sorcerer at all costs. If the sorcerer dies, Memnon's armies lose their supernatural edge, giving the rebellion a fighting chance. The assassins split up, moving through the shadows like ghosts as they close in on the master tent. But Mathayus immediately senses that something is incredibly wrong. The camp is far too quiet. Before they can strike, a massive trap is sprung, surrounding the assassins with wall-to-wall steel. A brutal brawl breaks out instantly as Mathayus unleashes his savage, unrestrained combat training. Despite their unmatched lethal skills, the sheer volume of numbers proves to be completely overwhelming. Pinned down and heavily disarmed, the brothers are forced to face the tyrant king himself. Memnon steps forward, mocking the legendary assassins who thought they could outsmart his flawless vision. That is when the mysterious sorcerer finally steps out into the light, leaving Mathayus completely stunned. It isn't a twisted, ancient old monster, but a breathtakingly beautiful, captive young woman named Cassandra. Memnon decides to send a brutal message to anyone else thinking of defying his absolute rule. Right before Mathayus's eyes, the tyrant ruthlessly executes his brother without missing a single beat. In that devastating moment, the mission completely shifts from a paid job to a bloodthirsty quest for vengeance. But Memnon doesn't give him a quick death. He wants the assassin to suffer the worst agony possible. Mathayus is buried up to his chin in the blistering desert sand, completely unable to move a muscle. To make things infinitely worse, the soldiers unleash a swarm of massive, flesh-eating desert fire ants. Right next to him is Arpid, a fast-talking horse thief who can't stop panicking over their doom. Showing absolute peak survival instinct, Mathayus literally bites the head off an approaching ant. Using the distraction, Arpid manages to wriggle his hands free and frantically digs himself out of the earth. Knowing he can't survive the desert alone, the thief quickly helps dig the deadly assassin out. Free from the sand trap, they sprint across the shifting dunes just as enemy scouts spot them. Mathayus hijacks an enemy steed in mid-stride, showcasing his flawless, aggressive equestrian skill. Instead of running away to hide, Mathayus rides straight toward Gomorrah, Memnon's personal stronghold. He slips past the heavy front gates, blending perfectly into the crowded, chaotic criminal underbelly. He tracks down a local street guide to map out the heavily guarded layout of the Grand Palace. During his search, he stumbles upon Philos, an eccentric scientist inventing a strange explosive powder. With a dynamic plan locked in, Mathayus scales the towering palace walls under darkness. He drops silently into the lavish inner chambers, coming face to face with the beautiful seer once again. He prepares to strike her down, believing she is the absolute source of Memnon's tyrannical power. But instead of crying out for the guards, Cassandra stands completely calm, welcoming her fate. Before they can talk further, heavy elite guards arrive outside, forcing an instant escape plan. Realizing she is the ultimate key to destroying the king, Mathayus takes her hostage and runs. Mathayus and Cassandra emerge from a public fountain right in front of a stunned street kid. Wrapped in a cloak and holding her close, Mathayus walks his disguised hostage right past the heavily guarded city gates on foot before the alarm is raised. Rejoining Arpid outside the walls, Mathayus pulls Cassandra onto his camel and rides out into the vast desert, putting miles of sand between them and Gomorrah. Back in Gomorrah, Memnon handles a deadly scorpion while tracking his lost sorceress. That night at camp, Cassandra attempts to sneak off into the dark, only to tumble onto the sand when the tether tied to her ankle pulls tight. As Mathayus cuts her loose, she reveals the dark truth. She is Memnon's captive, not his accomplice, and her visions are a curse she deeply hates. Recognizing she is a fellow victim of the tyrant, Mathayus offers her freedom, turning his former hostage into a loyal partner in his mission. Memnon dispatches his most ruthless commander, Thorak, with orders to kill the assassin and bring her back. The peace is shattered instantly as Thorak's elite assassin squad springs a deadly ambush. Mathayus engages Thorak in a brutal duel, blades sparking fiercely against the desert rocks. During the fight, Thorak manages to scratch Mathayus with a blade laced with lethal scorpion venom. With the poison rapidly rushing toward his heart, the mighty warrior collapses into the sand. Cassandra uses her rare, sacred magic to purge the deadly scorpion venom from his body. The ritual works perfectly, bonding their fates together and giving Mathayus a powerful new strength. Soon after, they are captured by the rebel forces led by the towering, fierce warrior Balthazar. Balthazar doesn't trust an Akkadian assassin, leading to a massive, bare-knuckle brawl between them. After trading brutal blows, they earn each other's respect and agree to unite their forces, but the peace is broken when Cassandra receives a terrifying vision of an upcoming slaughter. To save Mathayus and the rebellion from doom, she slips away to surrender herself back to the king. Mathayus refuses to let her sacrifice herself, giving a powerful speech to ignite the full rebellion. The combined rebel forces launch a daring, final stealth infiltration into the heart of the city. Mathayus cuts through waves of palace guards like a hot knife through absolute butter. Philos and Arpid secretly rig the entire palace courtyard with massive quantities of gunpowder. Beside him, Balthazar unleashes absolute havoc, smashing through the enemy defense lines. At the peak of the palace, Mathayus finally confronts Memnon for the ultimate showdown. The final duel is an absolute cinematic masterpiece of fast pacing and deadly metal choreography. Memnon proves to be an absolute beast, utilizing his unmatched speed to gain the upper hand. Cassandra watches in horror as her dark prophecy of Mathayus's death threatens to come true. Defying fate itself, Mathayus spots a rebel archer out of the corner of his eye. During the final clash with Memnon, an archer targets Mathayus. Cassandra rushes to save him, but the arrow strikes Mathayus down. Cornered by guards, Arpid snatches a lit torch from a soldier to ignite the powder, triggering a massive palace explosion. Rising from the ground, Mathayus yanks the arrow from his own back, loads his bow, and shoots Memnon straight through the chest. The tyrant stumbles backward, falling off the high balcony into a massive explosion below. Seeing their undefeated king utterly destroyed, the entire enemy army instantly bows down in surrender. According to ancient law, the man who slays the tyrant takes the crown to rule the lands. A brand new era of peace and justice begins, cementing his name into eternal